Hello, welcome to the Healthy Alternatives podcast. I am Dr. Christine Sauer with DocChristine.com. Today's show is a recording of my radio show of the same name. Enjoy! Good afternoon, this is Dr. Christine Sauer, your host of the show Healthy Alternatives, here on 97.5 CIOE FM with live stream on communityradio.ca every Thursday at 12 noon Atlantic Standard Time. Thanks for tuning in today. In this show, I will talk, mostly with guests, about all aspects of health, healthcare and wellness, from conventional to alternative and everything in between. My mission for this radio show is to help change people's lives for the better by informing them about different options to get and stay healthy and well so they can choose for themselves which option might work in their case. And if you feel you are stuck in a dark place, I want to tell you, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Today I'm very pleased to be with Beverly Stickley, a woman's empowerment coach, Theta healer practitioner and author of the bestseller Love Me, Love Me Not, and so much more. Welcome very much, Beverly.
Hi, thank you so much. It's really great to be here with you today, Christina, Dr. Christina.
Just call me Christina, I'm fine with that.
Christina, okay.
Okay, Beverly. Now, I always ask the question in the beginning, how did you become the person who you are today? I know you had a long journey in the healing profession. If you don't mind, just share that so our listeners can get an idea how you developed from being more in the scientific area to being more in the, what I would call, alternative scene.
Yes, well, I worked as an emerge nurse, and I had done medevacs and worked in emerge for 10 years, and I was starting to hit a wall. I'd seen a lot of traumatic things happen. They were starting to really affect me. I started to have panic attacks, full-blown panic attacks, where I went from being a medevac nurse flying all the time to not being able to get on an airplane. Everything became very stressful for me. I was trying to figure it out in my head what was going on. Mm-hmm. I was always connecting with what should I do next. It was very, everything was very above the shoulders for me.
Very stressful, head-centered and all scientific kind of. It was all procedures to follow.
Yes, I was very organized. Everything had to be done in a certain way. And I felt like I was losing control of trying to control everything. So with the trauma coming into the emerge room, things like in a small community, people that you knew, people were coming in, harming themselves, and then accidents were occurring. And it was just like things kept piling up. I was trying to control things, and I could feel things slipping away little by little. I felt like I'm losing control here. I'm no longer in control. And that was a very scary thing for me. And then with the panic attacks starting on the medevacs, then I realized I had lost control.
So what do you think happened? Is that the energy of those people really affected you? You couldn't guard yourself against it?
Yes. It was trying to be in that high stress, high adrenaline situation where you wanted to save people, where you wanted the best for people. I can remember just as a very small little child wanting to look after everybody, wanting to make sure everybody was happy, wanting to make sure that everybody was playing together and happy, and everybody was just content. Life was good. It was just that wasn't my reality. It was I felt like I wanted to shift everybody's life into this wonderful place, but it's I couldn't get there, and I couldn't bring everybody else there with me.
So that must have been stressful, frustrating, and upsetting.
Yes. Yeah. So it was that I had to kind of take a step back to find out why the perceptions were bringing me to these panic controls. I got a book. I said I have to figure it out. In my head, I was still in my head trying to figure out what was going on. And it was very much because of perception. And it was very much because I wasn't going down into the rest of my body. And anybody that is into holistic healing realizes that you have 7 main energy centers in your body, and the root chakra is at your tailbone. And to be connected with Mother Earth and be grounded is where you feel safe. So I wasn't even below my shoulders. Like, I was just living in my head up. So to connect with my body and to connect with all the other energy centers and to bring myself to a place of feeling safety and security and connecting with my heart especially.
Yeah, that's looking back. So tell me what really happened. You had panic attacks, and I know how they feel. They are awful. I had them myself at some point. And how did you transition from being all head-centered, scientific, to the more feeling energetic part of being that you're more or less now?
Well, it first started with knowledge. I started reading. I started wanting to know what was going on with
Any
my
book
mind.
that comes to mind that really impressed you?
I did have a book about panic, but I don't remember the author. And I got a book by Deepak Chopra, the Health and Wellness book, that really showed me that the health of your body is controlled by your mind.
And vice versa. Wonderful. I love it. Yeah. I love Deepak.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
So that was a very powerful beginning for me to read those books. And then, of course, I got into alternative health through studying acupuncture. So I became familiar with the energy channels in your body. And acupuncture not only treats physical ailments, but it also treats mental, emotional, and spiritual. There's points for all those. So that became very powerful for me to get into acupuncture and do acupuncture for people.
And how did you progress? Because it is really, you bring a whole host of skills to the table, really, in all areas, and that is quite interesting. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. I read here that you're a Reiki master too, and what took you from being acupuncturist, Reiki master, and nurse to now calling yourself a Theta healer practitioner?
Yeah, well, I kind of look back towards my life and I see body, mind, and spirit. And with my nursing, I feel like I was in the body. And then I had a psychology degree, which was about the mind. But I got more into the spiritual side of things. So as I progressed with energy healing, with the acupuncture, I started to become interested in Reiki, which is the hands-on energy shifting, channeling energy from the universe through your hands to other people's energy centers to allow them to balance out their energy in their body, because where energy doesn't flow is where disease starts. So then in doing my Reiki and doing my Reiki master courses, it was all kind of happening at the same time. I started wanting to share that information with people, like how energy, we are all energy, energy is everywhere, and how our mind is affecting our body, but also how we're vibrating and we're sending out a frequency. So I got into the higher consciousness coaching courses. So it just became it was just like I found home. I got into more and more spiritual courses, how to coach people from a spiritual aspect. Then I got into when your energy is opened up, when you get attunements, your frequency is more open to connecting with universal energy. Then I got into looking at how our outer reality reflects what our inner subconscious beliefs are. And with the Theta healing, it was looking at where our subconscious beliefs were stored, and the subconscious beliefs created the outer reality. So you kept attracting those things into your life. So there was a way to shift that by connecting with somebody, muscle testing if they have a certain belief in their subconscious. They may say consciously, no, I love myself. But if there's ways of muscle testing interlinking your forefinger and your thumb with the other forefinger and thumb and just gently pulling and getting it to a place where you're saying your name so that you have yes, 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 and then pulling again and saying something like, I live in Australia, and then it'll break, the link will break between your two fingers because it's a false, it's a no. So there's ways of checking underlying subconscious beliefs. Because if you keep attracting certain things into your life or the person that treats you wrong, then there's ways of checking, I respect myself, and if that's coming out, that muscle testing is showing you no, you don't, then there's ways of having tools to empower yourself and steps to take. And there's also ways to shift that belief within yourself to clear the belief that you're not worthy or you're not enough. And there's ways to download into your subconscious, I am loving, or I am lovable, or I am confident. So it brings it to a whole different realm of energy healing, but it's very powerful. But everything is done with someone else's permission.
Of course. Of
connecting with their energy fields. And it's done for their highest good. They're the ones that are deciding if they're ready to make that shift. So,
that's always the most important. You can't force anybody to take that on. If somebody's not ready, they won't go that way.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
And somebody that is not aware of their own energy, like many people are still head-centered, working in head-centered professions, and deny that even such energies exist, which I disagree with myself because I am on a similar path as you were. And many people actually do nowadays, which I think is nice. And you used the wonderful word progressing, and I really think we need to progress that way. Now, what do you say to somebody that's all head-centered? How can they feel energy when they never felt it before?
So, yeah, and I tell people... I have I went through the same thing, so I'm going backwards and teaching people what I came through, which is how it works. Anybody that does energy work or healing or any kind of alternative health says, well, I had to go through this issue, so now I'm going to show you the steps I took. So just a great thing to do is just to start listening to your intuition. It's like your heart will always guide you. And in order to connect with your intuition and what your heart's guidance is telling you, you have to start breathing and paying attention to the feelings and sensations in your body.
Wonderful. I really love that way you express it. You have to listen to your intuition. And some people feel it in their heart area. Some people, like myself, I more feel it in my belly. And I say, oh, yeah, I have that little feeling, that little voice in my stomach that tells me, you go this way. And it is really powerful.
Yes, it is. It's really powerful. And I always joke and say to somebody, your answers are always within you. You just have to listen. You just have to ask, go to a quiet place and listen for your own response. And I say to people, if you don't know what you want, flip a coin. And they look at me and say, well, flip a coin. Well, because it's not the flipping of the coin. It's like, when the coin is up in the air, which way you want the coin to land.
Well, that's a nice way to finish the first half of the show. And here on 97.5 COE-FM Community Radio, please tune in after the commercial break for more with Beverly, Stickley and Energy. Okay, we can continue talk until Jim is ready for the second half.
Okay.
Now, you said in your notes you would like to do a clearing and downloads. If time permits, how much time is required for that?
Probably 5 minutes just for me to connect with the energy, to do a few clearings, to do a few downloads, and then just to disconnect.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, just a second though, you only have 15 minutes for the other guy.
I only have 15 minutes left. Yeah,
okay.
So we have to start pretty soon. Okay. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to Healthy Alternatives here on 97.5 CIOE-FM or on the web at communityradio.ca. I'm your host, Dr. Christine Sauer, and today I'm talking with Beverly Stickley about her way as to become a woman's empowerment coach and energy practitioner. Thanks, Beverly, for being back.
Oh, thank you for having me today.
No, it was very interesting to see how you evolved from being an emergency room nurse to becoming an energy practitioner. And certainly it is very important to be head-centered and have people that are, because when I have an accident and I'm hurt, I want a nice emergency nurse that knows what to do right away.
Yes.
I don't believe that the energy alone will heal you then, but otherwise, I think the more chronic a disease is, the more insidious and the more the thought patterns are off, the more the energy comes into play, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Everything takes time. It takes practice. Every thought you think is actually, I tell people, just imagine every thought that you think going up on a billboard, that's the energy that you're vibrating. That's the energy you're putting out. So as with anything worth having, it takes practice to stay in a positive mindset. It takes getting up in the morning and saying, what are your intentions? What 3 things do I want to do today?
Exactly.
Like I want to connect with coworkers. I want to complete that project. I want to look at next week's lineup or project and complete the template for that or finish off that project. So if you get up in the morning and you set a positive mindset, like I'm going to have a great day, and say these are the 3 things I want to do, and then when you go into work and say to people good morning, and then somebody starts with the drama. It's up to you to kind of pull back away from that and say, well, is that part of my intentions for today? And to stay in that positive mindset. It's not that you don't connect with people. You do have to work with people and you do have to connect with other people, but you get to choose if you want to go down, we call it a rabbit hole, if you want to go into that negativity and go into that spin. And the more you kind of step back and set your intentions, which will guide you, the more you stay choosing is the word, because control is fear-based.
Yeah.
So you get to choose your thoughts and choose what you connect with that day. So if somebody's in a downward spiral and being negative, then you kind of want to step back and say, no, that's not going to help me today. I'm going to go forward and get what I need to get done. And you can say to somebody, I'm sorry that you're having that bad luck, or I'm sorry that happened to you. But you don't need to go beyond and stay there and get kind of dragged into that energy.
Yeah, some people, they really get something out of just complaining without really taking action in any way.
Yes, and we all are connected on an energy grid. So it's really important to be aware that your energy affects other people, but it also attracts into your life, like you're vibrating, so it also attracts into your life positive things. So it's kind of like self-care, getting out for that walk, going, if somebody calls you up and says, can you look after, my children, or babysit, or, I have a flat tire, or whatever comes towards you, you have to pick and choose where you give your time. And I find it best if you write on a calendar, like schedule yourself in for that walk in the evening. If you've had a busy day, and you want to get to your yoga class, or you want to get for your walk, and that same person, that same friend, I ran out of gas, I ran out of money, well, I'll come for you after my yoga class. Or just say, if someone invites you to go somewhere and you're really not really wanting to go to that event, like you have something else planned, just say no thank you. Yeah. Learn to say no thank you. And I know a lot of people have problems with that, but it's your time, and your responsibility is about your choices and filling up your own cup first and foremost.
And I think that is very important, especially for women to hear, that we need to do self-care. We can't just say yes to everything that will destroy us, and we are saying no to ourselves.
Yes.
And we can't take care of other people, at least not for any longer time, if we are not taking care of ourselves.
That's exactly right. And it's the example of the oxygen mask dropping in the plane. If you don't put it on yourself first, you're going to pass out, and you're not going to be any good to your friend or your children or your partner.
Exactly. So, that is a nice analogy.
Yeah. That's how important it is for you to get self-care and to look after yourself.
And I think it's not just the thoughts that we need, it's also the feelings behind the thoughts that actually make it work.
Yes, it definitely is.
Because some people say, even when they pray to God, which is similar to meditation, they say, oh, I want a house, I want this, I want that, but they really don't believe they are going to get it. They'll never get it.
That's right. Do you deserve it? That's where a lot of self-love, self-respect, self-worth, self-deserving. So do we really feel we deserve something? Do we really love ourselves enough to say no to the person that wants us to go to a class that we have no interest in? Creative, it could be creative writing. We could be wanting to do our yoga. Or it could be the opposite way around. Somebody wants to bring us to yoga and we want to get to our creative writing class. That's where you connect with what are you passionate about, because those are the things that fill your energy cup. And it could be different for you. It could be different for me. It could be the creative writing class for you. It could be the yoga for me. We need to say yes to the things that fill our cup, and we can connect and know what energizes us, because when we attend the class, it's not that we can't try it out. That's what makes life so enjoyable, is start experiencing new things, to start meeting new people. When we go and volunteer or go to a new class, do we come away just vibrating? Like, are we like that feeling you have when you're a child waking up on Christmas morning? It's like, are we vibrating and having that energy of, oh my gosh, I love this. I love this.
The energy, yoga. The excitement, that is the energy you want to feel in your everyday life. And if you lost that, you might need help to rediscover it. Yes.
And that's part of what I do with people is, what is your talents? What is your passions? Those are the things that need to be rediscovered if you've lost that kind of excitement for life.
Yeah, and that is so important. And I see many people that just live paycheck to paycheck, day by day, and just move along and complain about everything that happens, watch the news all day and say, oh my God, it makes me really feel bad. If it makes you feel bad, switch it off.
Yes, exactly. If something takes your energy away, then that's not your passion. Then say no. Whereas if something fills you with energy, then that is your passion. So again, it's pay attention to the feelings in your body, whether it's your heart feeling or your stomach feeling. And if you're energized by something, that's what you need to connect with.
Yes, I completely agree. Now, how do we distinguish the false excitement, like when somebody is addicted to something like video games even, and is excited about killing all those slummies or whatever it is in the video games that they kill? And how do they know that it's really not real?
Well, it's a very, addictions are about numbing your heart. So you have to look at I guess the first priority is looking at, do you enjoy spending time in front of the TV? Or if it can go back to when you were a child, but children are growing up very differently now.
Yes.
We played outdoors all the time. So
we had a connection to nature. Nowadays it's often lost.
Yeah. So some people are just going to have to go find it. They're not going to know what they're passionate about. So like any addiction, it could be, it's basically tries start trying different things, or try to be on your own without that TV, or try to be on your own without the video game, because an excess of exercise or video games or food or a drug, anything in excess is numbing us.
That is a wonderful thought. Everything in excess is numbing us and is in the end an undesirable influence. Would you agree?
Yes, because it's filling a void. So we can stop and turn it off for 5 or 10 minutes or 30 minutes and ask yourself, what is it I'm really looking for? What is that? What's the need that's trying to be filled here by this, excess TV? Or it's when you want to shift, you're going to say, there's something that is lacking, and what is it I'm needing here? Is it human contact? Is it finding something that energizes me?
I find that's always an emptiness that they are trying to fill. And that's exactly what you are saying. And that is a wonderful thought to bring us to the end of today's show. Always follow your passion and discover your passion if you don't know what to do. And Beverly is certainly a person that can help you do that. And I thank you very much for being on today's show. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome, Christy. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much, Beverly. And I want to note everybody that has any questions, thoughts, comments, or suggestions, or if you'd like to contact Beverly, my email here is christine@communityradio.ca. Beverly's website is www.divinehealingenergy.ca. And I'm always grateful for any feedback, and I want to extend a special thank you to today's producer, Jim Francis, and his lovely assistant, Hannah. Thank you. You might not know this, but this is a volunteer-run, non-profit radio station, and we even have an art gallery. If you're local and you'd like to drop in, we are at 11 Glendale Avenue, Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia. Thank you all for listening to Healthy Alternatives. I'm your host, Dr. Christine Sauer. Tune in next Thursday at noon on 97.5 CIOE-FM Community Radio with live stream on communityradio.ca for the next episode. Goodbye and have a great day.